Britain and AI. Player, spectator, or safety inspector? Today's question is simple. Is Britain an AI pioneer, or is it just a VIP user of American AI? Here is the short answer. Britain is world-class in AI research, talent, applications, and safety evaluation. But it remains weak in the hard infrastructure of AI. Cheap power, large-scale compute, frontier chips, and secure access to the most advanced models. So Britain's AI story is not just a story of invention, it is a story of dependence. Think about the irony. Britain gave the world Alan Turing. It created DeepMind. It hosted the world's first major AI safety summit. It built the first National AI Safety Institute, now the AI Security Institute. And yet in 2026, Britain has to worry about whether a decision made in Washington could block its access to the latest frontier AI models. That is the contradiction. Britain has the ideas. Britain has the people. Britain has the institutions. But AI power now depends on something more physical: electricity, chips, data centers, cloud infrastructure, and geopolitical permission. That is why Britain now faces the question raised by The Economist. Is it a player, or is it becoming a spectator? So let's start at the beginning. Why does Britain matter so much in the history of AI? Why Britain is part of AI's origin story? Britain is not just another country in the AI race. It is one of the places where the modern idea of machine intelligence began. In 1950, Alan Turing published Computing Machinery and Intelligence. The question was direct: can machines think? Turing did not answer it with philosophy alone. He reframed the question as a test. Could a machine imitate human conversation well enough that a person could not reliably tell the difference? That idea later became known as the Turing test. And the symbolism matters. Turing was not only a theorist of machine intelligence, he was also central to Britain's wartime code-breaking effort at Bletchley Park. So Britain's AI story begins with two things at once: computation and national security. That combination has returned in the 2020s. AI is again about intelligence, and it is again about security. So what does this mean? It means Britain has a genuine claim to being one of AI's intellectual birthplaces. But having the origin story is not the same as controlling the future. And that brings us to DeepMind. DeepMind, Britain's triumph and Britain's limitation. DeepMind was founded in London in 2010 by Demis Hassabis, Shane Legg, and Mustafa Suleyman. Its ambition was enormous: to build general-purpose AI systems. 6 years later, in 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo defeated Lee Sedol. That was one of the defining moments in modern AI. It showed that AI could master not just brute force calculation, but strategic intuition. For Britain, this was a triumph. A London-born AI lab had produced one of the most important breakthroughs in the field. But there is another side to the story. In 2014, Google acquired DeepMind. Why? The simple answer is scale. Frontier AI is not powered by genius alone. It needs compute, it needs capital, it needs data center access, it needs cloud infrastructure, it needs the ability to run massive experiments repeatedly. Britain had produced the lab, but Google had the infrastructure to scale it. That is the recurring pattern in Britain's AI story. British ideas, British talent, American scale. Look at the people. Demis Hassabis leads Google DeepMind. Geoffrey Hinton helped create the deep learning revolution and later became one of the most important public voices on AI risk. Mustafa Suleyman co-founded DeepMind and later became CEO of Microsoft AI. Jack Clark, a British AI policy and research figure, became a key leader at Anthropic. David Silver helped drive the reinforcement learning breakthroughs behind AlphaGo. Britain's AI talent base is exceptional, but talent alone does not equal sovereignty. So what does this mean? It means Britain is very good at creating AI capability, but it has struggled to keep full control over the infrastructure needed to scale that capability. Britain's AI numbers, strong but not American scale. Now let's look at the numbers. The Stanford AI Index 2025 shows private AI investment in 2024. The United States, $109.1 billion. China, $9.3 billion. The United Kingdom, $4.5 billion. That puts Britain high globally. But the scale gap with America is massive. The US does not merely lead, it operates in another league. At the same time, Britain's domestic AI sector is real. According to the UK AI Sector Study 2024, the UK has more than 5,800 AI companies, sector revenue of £23.9 billion, and gross value added of £11.8 billion. So the UK is not weak. It has a substantial AI economy. It has startups. It has research clusters. It has London, Cambridge, and King's Cross. It has Wave, Synthesia, DeepMind, and a dense network of AI talent. But there is a difference between having a strong AI sector and having full AI power, and that difference becomes clear when we break AI into layers. The AI stack, where Britain is strong and where it is weak. Look at the AI stack. At the bottom, there is energy, then chips, then data centers and cloud, then foundation models, then applications, finally, productivity, and public services. And across all these layers sits safety evaluation and governance. Britain's strengths are clear. Safety evaluation and governance, strong. Applications, strong. Foundation models, moderate. Productivity and public services, moderate, with high potential. But the hard infrastructure layers are weak. Energy, weak. Chips, weak. Data centers and cloud, weak. Now chips need nuance. Britain has ARM. That matters. ARM is a major design strength. Its architecture is embedded across global computing. But ARM does not mean Britain controls frontier-scale chip manufacturing. Britain is not Taiwan. It is not the United States. It is not building the physical chip supply chain at the scale required for frontier AI. So in the AI stack, Britain's pattern is clear. It is stronger at the top. It is weaker at the bottom. It is good at ideas, software, safety, and applications. It is weaker in power, compute, chips, and infrastructure. So what does this mean? It means Britain can be an AI user, evaluator, an application leader. But becoming an AI sovereign power requires control over the physical stack. And that is where the next story begins. Stargate UK. Stargate UK, sovereign AI meets the electricity bill. Stargate UK was supposed to be a major step towards sovereign AI infrastructure. The basic promise was simple. AI capacity for the UK, inside the UK, under UK jurisdiction. It was tied to the idea of AI growth zones. It was linked to data center development. It was presented as part of Britain's effort to become more than a consumer of American AI. But then the project was paused. Why? Because AI infrastructure is brutally physical. You need land. You need planning permission. You need substations. You need grid connections. You need cooling. Most of all, you need cheap and reliable electricity. If industrial power costs are much higher in Britain than in places like Texas, the economics of frontier AI infrastructure become very difficult. That is the point. AI may look like software, but at scale, AI is an energy industry. Britain's problem is not that it lacks ambition. It has AI growth zones. It has a sovereign AI agenda. It has a hardware plan. But ambitions do not run models. Electricity does. So what does this mean? It means Britain's AI sovereignty will not be decided only in research labs. It will be decided at substations, data centers, and energy markets. AISI, Britain's real institutional advantage. But Britain does have one major hard asset in AI governance. AISI, the AI Security Institute. It emerged from the 2023 AI Safety Summit at Bletchley Park. That summit mattered because it brought together major powers, including the United States and China, around the risks of frontier AI. The result was the Bletchley Declaration. And from that process came the world's first national AI Safety Institute. Today, under the name AI Security Institute, AISI, is one of Britain's strongest AI institutions. It evaluates frontier models. It conducts red team testing. It studies risks in cybersecurity, biology, chemistry, persuasion, and misuse. It also released Inspect AI, an open-source evaluation framework. This is not just symbolic diplomacy, it is technical state capacity. AISI gives the British government something many governments do not have, a serious in-house ability to understand what advanced models can actually do. That is why the SWOT chart rates AISI as strong. But here is the limitation. AISI is not a substitute for compute. It can evaluate models, it can test models, it can warn about models, but it does not automatically control access to the most advanced models. And that leads us to the access control shock. The Anthropic shock, when access becomes geopolitics. According to the scenario described in the reviewed briefing, the United States blocks foreign access to Anthropic's most advanced models, Mythos 5 and Fable 5. The chain reaction is simple. Anthropic, then a US export control directive, then foreign nationals blocked, then allies shocked, then a sovereign AI debate. This is the key point. AI access is becoming geopolitical. It is no longer safe to think of frontier AI models as ordinary cloud software. They are becoming strategic systems. A US decision on model access can instantly reshape allied AI strategy. For Britain, the shock is especially sharp. Britain is one of America's closest intelligence partners. It is part of the Five Eyes alliance. It hosts the world's leading AI Security Institute. And yet even Britain cannot assume that frontier model access will always be available. This is why the nuclear analogy appears again. During the Second World War, Britain shared early nuclear research with the United States. But after the war, the United States restricted nuclear cooperation, even with allies. In AI, the same question is returning. When a technology becomes strategically decisive, does alliance still guarantee access? The answer may be no. So what does this mean? It means AI sovereignty is not only about building a domestic model. It is about access rights, fallback capacity, compute infrastructure, data control, and diplomatic guarantees. Strategic assessment, Britain's AI SWOT. Now let's summarize Britain's AI position. Strengths. Britain has the Turing legacy. It has DeepMind. It has exceptional AI talent. It has AISI. It has a flexible regulatory posture compared with the EU. It has strong application potential in finance, health, education, public services, and professional services. Weaknesses. Cheap power is limited. Large-scale compute is limited. Data center expansion is constrained. Frontier chip manufacturing is weak. Domestic capital is far smaller than in the United States. And access to the latest frontier models may depend on American policy. Opportunities. Britain can become the world's leading AI safety and assurance hub. It can become a leader in AI applications. It can use AI in public services. It can build sovereign compute selectively. It can develop AI auditing, testing, red teaming, and evaluation as exportable capabilities. Threats. The United States may restrict model access. Europe may regulate faster than Britain can scale. China may advance despite chip controls. And domestic backlash could slow adoption if AI is seen mainly as a threat to jobs. So Britain's strategic choice is not binary. It does not need to become another United States. That is unrealistic, but it cannot be only a spectator. It needs a middle power AI strategy, strong in safety, strong in applications, selective in sovereign compute, realistic about infrastructure, and hard-headed about dependence on America. What this means for Korea. This story is not only about Britain, it matters for Korea as well. Korea faces a similar problem. It has strong companies, it has semiconductors, it has public sector AI ambitions, it has its own AI policy framework, but it also depends on the global AI stack. That means Korea needs to learn 5 lessons from Britain. First, build a technical AI evaluation institution, not just legal principles. Second, connect AI policy to power, data centers, and cloud infrastructure. Third, treat public data governance as a core AI policy, especially in health, education, and administration. Fourth, avoid dependence on a single foreign frontier model. There must be backup models, open source options, domestic models, and secure on-premise systems. Fifth, put frontier model access on the diplomatic agenda. AI diplomacy is no longer just about chips. It is also about model access. So what does this mean? It means AI sovereignty is not a slogan. It is an operating system. It has layers: compute, data, models, evaluation, applications, and alliances. Let's close. Britain is one of the most important countries in AI history. It had Turing. It created DeepMind. It gave the world AlphaGo. It hosted the AI Safety Summit. It built AISI. So Britain understands AI deeply. But in 2026, understanding AI is not enough. The next stage of AI power will be decided by 3 questions. Who has cheap and reliable electricity? Who has stable access to frontier models? And who can actually deploy AI across industry and public services? Britain is weak in the first question, vulnerable in the second, but potentially strong in the third. That is why Britain's future is still open. It could remain Europe's leading AI research and safety hub, or it could become something more important, a country that makes AI useful, safe, and productive at national scale. And that is the real test, not whether Britain invented the AI story, but whether it can still shape the next chapter.